Emma adjusted her simple dress in the restaurant's restroom mirror, her hands trembling. She hadn't been on a date in years. Her friends had insisted she try again, setting her up on a blind date. What Emma didn't know was that this date wasn't meant to be genuine. A cruel group from her office had arranged it as a joke, whispering that no man would take her seriously, a quiet woman who cared more for books and her younger brother than parties or makeup. She walked nervously to the table, scanning for the stranger she was told to meet. Instead, she found him already waiting, a tall man in a perfectly tailored suit, his eyes kind but sharp, the sort of man who carried weight in every room he entered. What Emma didn't realize was that this wasn't just any man. This was Daniel Carter, a self-made CEO and single father known for his brilliant mind and ruthless business acumen. The moment he saw Emma, Daniel's guarded expression softened. She wasn't loud, flashy, or desperate to impress. She was real. But across the room, the so-called friends, who had orchestrated the prank, snickered, waiting for humiliation to unfold. Emma, nervous but genuine, spoke about her life. About raising her younger brother after their parents' accident. About the late nights, the sacrifices, and the small joys of keeping family together. She wasn't trying to impress. She was simply being herself. Daniel listened, and for the first time in years, he felt something shift. He was used to people chasing his status, his money, his name. But Emma? She was talking about loyalty, love, and resilience. And then, when she noticed the waitstaff struggling with a large tray, Emma immediately stood, rushing to help without a second thought. The group watching laughed louder, whispering, "She's ruining the date. Just wait, he'll leave." But Daniel didn't leave. Instead, he stood too, watching her with a gaze that silenced the room. Something in him knew this wasn't a mistake. It was fate. As Emma returned, cheeks flushed, she apologized for being a little too much sometimes. Daniel leaned forward, his voice steady but filled with something raw. "You're not too much. You're exactly what I've been looking for." Gasps rippled across the restaurant. The group behind them stopped laughing, their smirks wiped clean. And then, before anyone could process what was happening, Daniel Carter, the powerful CEO, the untouchable single dad, stood, walked around the table, and got down on one knee. Emma froze, her eyes wide. "What are you doing?" she whispered. The entire restaurant went silent. Daniel's voice carried, strong and certain. "I came here tonight expecting just another empty conversation. Instead, I found the most genuine, selfless woman I've ever met. I won't waste a moment pretending otherwise. Emma, will you marry me?" Every face in the restaurant turned, every whisper vanished. The people who had set her up as a joke sat in stunned silence, their cruel plan collapsing around them. And Emma? Tears filled her eyes, not from embarrassment, but from the overwhelming truth that someone had finally seen her for who she was. She covered her mouth, trembling, as the world around her waited for her answer.